The box hasn't left the corner of this room in 6 months. Neither have I. I sit on the edge of the bed, staring at the cardboard like it's a coffin holding the rest of my life. My hands shake as I unfold the flaps again the same way I've done every morning since I arrived. Inside. Photos of my house, my husband, the life I had before everything disappeared. I close it. Then I open it again. This is what grief does to you. It makes you unpack the same box over and over, hoping one time the contents will change. It's temporary, my son had said when I knocked on his door 3 weeks after the funeral. His eyes were red. Mine were worse. Just until you get back on your feet, Mom. A few months, maybe. That was 6 months ago. Now his wife, she doesn't say things out loud, she just lets the silence do the talking. The way she stares at my shoes in the hallway like they're taking up too much space. The way she rearranges the kitchen after I cook, moving my spoons back to a different drawer. The way she says, "we," instead of "you." "We think maybe you could use the downstairs bathroom instead," or "we've been meaning to talk about grocery costs." We. Not I. Not, "let's figure this out together." Just we. I pick up a framed photo from the box, me and my husband at the beach, maybe 40 years ago, his arm around my waist, my head on his shoulder. I was somebody's person then. Now I'm nobody's anything. The floorboards creak upstairs. They're home early. I hear the front door open, their voices rising up through the vents, her sharp, his tired. Always tired now when he talks to me. I carefully repack the box and sit in the silence of this room that isn't mine. The guest bedroom. That's what she calls it, even though there are no guests, just me. Dinner is at 6 p.m. It's always 6 p.m. I come down at 5:45, hands still damp from washing my face. I've learned the timing. Come too early, and I'm hovering. Come late, and they've already started without me, which somehow feels worse. The table is set for 3. There's chicken, rice, the vegetables I bought yesterday. I cooked it a habit from before, when cooking meant love, meant providing. Now it just means staying busy so nobody has to talk to me. My son sits down first. He doesn't look at me. Then she does, gliding into the room like she owns it, which, in a way, she does. This is their house. I'm just borrowing space in it. "Oh," she says, seeing the meal. "I wasn't sure if you were making something." "I made it," I say quietly. "I hope that's okay." She smiles. It doesn't reach her eyes. "Of course. Thank you." Nobody talks about what thank you really means. It means, "I would have preferred you didn't." It means, "You're a guest, and guests shouldn't assume." I sit down. The chair scrapes too loud against the floor. We eat. The only sound is forks against plates. The television murmurs in the other room, nobody bothering to turn it off. I watch my son push food around like he's looking for something in it. I watch her take dainty bites, her nose slightly raised, like the food I made doesn't quite taste right. "How was work?" I ask. He grunts. "Fine." "That's good," I say. She doesn't look at me. She looks at him. A long look. A message being sent that I'm not supposed to understand but somehow do. I eat faster. When I'm done, I collect the plates before they've finished. It's what I do now. Make myself useful. Disappear. The kitchen window faces the living room. That's where I see them. I'm up to my elbows in soapy water. The sink is my job now, has been since the 2nd week, and through the passway, I watch them on the couch. The TV is off. They're just sitting there. "He's laughing at something," she said. His head is back, his mouth wide open. I haven't seen him laugh like that in weeks. Not since his father died. Not since I moved in. Then she touches his arm. It's casual, the way married people touch each other. But there's something deliberate about it, too. Something that feels like it's meant for me to see. "Look," it says. "Look at what you're interrupting." I turn back to the dishes. My hands are wrinkled from the water. I don't recognize them anymore. They used to be my mother's hands. Then they were my own. Now they're just old. Behind me, I hear them shifting. The couch creaks. She laughs at something, a low, pleased sound. Intimate. I wash the same plate 3 times. When they finally get up and head upstairs, I turn to look. They're holding hands, his fingers interlaced with hers. He used to hold my hand like that when I was scared, when I was sad. Before this, I drain the sink and watch the water spiral down. It's 11 p.m. when it starts. I'm not asleep. I don't sleep much anymore. But I'm lying in the dark, staring at a ceiling that isn't mine, when I hear the voices rising upstairs. First, her voice, tight and controlled. We need to talk about this. Him. Not now. Yes, now. How long is she staying? I go very still, the way prey does when it hears the predator. I don't know, he says. You don't know? Her voice gets higher. It's been 6 months, and you don't know? She just lost her husband, my father. Give her time. Time for what? To move in permanently? She has money. She has options. This was supposed to be temporary. I hear him sigh. It's the saddest sound I've ever heard, like he's carrying something too heavy to name. I know, he says quietly. So what's the plan? Because I can't. She stops, starts again. I need to know there's a plan. The silence that follows goes on forever. Finally, he says, I'll figure it out. But he doesn't say when. He doesn't say how. He just says he'll figure it out, like I'm a problem he doesn't know how to solve. Like I'm something broken that needs fixing, and he doesn't have the tools. I lie in the darkness and understand what I've known all along. I'm not welcome here. And the person I came to for help, the one person I thought would catch me when I fell, he's the one letting me fall. The first time she did it, I almost didn't notice. Almost. I come home from the grocery store on a Tuesday with 2 bags of food. Chicken breast, carrots, coffee, things we need. Or things I think we need, which is maybe the problem. I set the bags on the counter and start putting things away. She walks in, still in her work clothes, and watches me like I'm doing something wrong. What's all this? She asks. Groceries, I say. For dinner. She picks up a package of whole wheat bread, examines it like it's suspicious. We don't eat this. She doesn't say, I don't eat this. She says we, which means my son too, which means I'm not just wrong, I'm wrong about his preferences, I'm wrong about who he is now. Oh, I say, I thought, it's fine, we can use it. She puts it back in the bag, not on the shelf, back in the bag, like she's returning it to the store. Just different next time, okay? She smiles. It's a nice smile. Anyone watching would think she's being kind. I nod and say nothing. But I notice. I notice everything now. By week 3 of this house, I learn the unwritten rules. Don't use the good dishes. Don't adjust the thermostat without asking. Don't reorganize the pantry, even though the flour is next to the sugar and the cereal is in 3 different places. Don't fold the towels the way I've folded them for 30 years. Fold them the way she wants them folded, tight and small, like origami nobody asked for. I'm getting good at noticing. I'm getting bad at everything else. The laundry is where it gets worse. I wash, dry, and fold on Wednesdays. It's my day. The one thing that still feels like it belongs to me. I fold carefully the way my mother taught me, the way that keeps clothes from wrinkling, the way that makes sense. But every time I leave the basket on the bed, she unfolds it. Not all of it, just the things that matter. His shirts, the good sweaters, like she's checking my work, like she doesn't trust me to do even this right. So I refold them. Then she unfolds them again. After the 3rd time, I stop putting them away at all. I just leave them in the basket. Let her deal with it. Let her see how it feels to have someone silently reject everything you touch. But she never says anything about it. That would be direct. That would be honest. Instead, on Friday, I find his shirts folded differently. Tighter, better, and she leaves them on the bed for me to see. The message is clear. You're not doing this right either. My hands shake as I refold them to match hers. You know you don't have to do all this, she says one morning. We're in the kitchen. I'm making breakfast again. Pancakes, bacon, the things they like, the things I think they like, the things I'm probably wrong about. She's sitting at the table, coffee in hand, watching me flip. I don't mind, I say. I like to help. But you're not helping really. You're kind of taking over. She says it gently, like she's concerned for me. Like she's worried I'm confusing myself with someone who belongs here. The kitchen is kind of our space, you know. Our space. I keep my back to her. Keep flipping pancakes. Keep the smile on my face that says I'm fine, I'm grateful, I understand. I'll be more mindful, I say. It's just, she continues, you were so independent before. Living your own life, why not get out more? Do your own thing? You're so isolated here. Is that what this is? Am I isolated, or am I just in the way? I could use some help around here, I offer quietly. You could, she agrees, but we didn't ask you to. You chose this. The pancakes are burning. I can smell it, but I don't move. By week 8, I start keeping a list. Not on paper, in my head. A running tally of small moments that add up to something big. The way she laughs when I mispronounce something. The way she corrects me in front of him, gently, like I'm a child. The way she always has a comment about what I'm wearing, where I'm going, what I'm doing. That color washes you out a bit. Are you going out? It looks like rain. Did you really need to buy that? Never mean, never loud, just two there, like a drip of water on a stone. Eventually the stone wears away. I wear different colors now. I go out less. I buy less. I take up less space. My son notices none of this. Or he notices and doesn't care. I can't decide which is worse. The coffee happens on a Thursday morning. I'm pouring. The mug is warm in my hands. She's standing next to me, talking about something, work, maybe, or her mother. I'm not really listening. I'm just trying to pour without spilling, trying to be useful, trying to be invisible. You know, we never asked you to give up your life, she says casually, like it's nothing, like it's just a thought that drifted into her head. You chose to move in here. The coffee stops pouring, my hand freezes. I turn to look at her. She's not even looking at me. She's looking at her phone, like she's just said something as simple as, nice weather. What? I say. I'm just saying, you made a choice. You could have, I don't know, stayed with your sister, found an apartment, done something else. She finally looks at me. Her eyes are completely calm. But you chose to come here, to stay, to be part of this. The implication hangs in the air like poison gas. You're not wanted here. You're choosing to stay where you're not welcome, and somehow that makes it my fault. You asked me to stay, I say. My voice is small. Your husband asked me to stay. He felt guilty, she says. He felt like he should, but nobody forced you. She takes the coffee from my shaking hands and walks away, leaving me standing in the kitchen I'm not supposed to take over, with the realization that the person I came to for help has already decided I'm not worth helping. And the worst part? My son heard every word. He was right there, reading the newspaper at the table, listening to his wife tell his mother that she's unwanted, that she's the problem, that she has no one to blame but herself. He just turned the page. He didn't say a single word. I'm up before dawn. It's Saturday, and I'm trying. That's all I do anymore, try. Try to be useful. Try to be invisible. Try to make up for the fact that I exist in a house that doesn't want me. The kitchen is dark, except for the light over the stove. I've memorized every corner of this room by now. Every tile, every cabinet, every place where I don't belong. Pancakes, bacon, coffee the way she likes it, dark roast, 2 sugars, a splash of cream. I know these things because I've been paying attention. I've been studying them like they're a test I need to pass. Like love is something that can be earned through precision and sacrifice. The butter sizzles in the pan. The pancakes are golden. The bacon is crispy. The eggs are soft-yolked, the way my husband used to like them, the way I'm guessing my son still does. The coffee is perfect. For a moment, standing in the quiet kitchen with the sun just starting to creep through the window, I let myself believe it will be enough. It won't be. She comes down first, which is unusual. Normally he comes down. Normally they come down together, already connected, already a team against me. But this morning it's just her, in the gray silk robe, hair still messy from sleep. She looks softer like this, human. For a second, I think maybe today will be different. Good morning, I say brightly. too brightly. I can hear the desperation in my own voice. She doesn't answer right away, she just looks at the table. The pancakes are stacked on a plate. The bacon is arranged. The eggs are golden. I've put flowers in the middle daisies from the garden out back, the ones I wasn't sure I was allowed to pick. Her face changes. I watch it happen in real time. The softness hardens, the corners of her mouth tighten, her eyes go cold. "What is this?" she asks quietly. "Breakfast," I say. "I made—" "I can see that." She walks closer to the table, examining it like a crime scene, like I've done something obscene. "Why?" The question lands wrong. Of course there's a why. The why is obvious. The why is that I'm desperate. The why is that I'm dying inside this house, and I thought maybe if I made the perfect breakfast, the perfect meal, the perfect something, maybe I would matter. "I thought you'd like it," I say. "We have plans this morning," she says flatly. "We're going out for breakfast. We do this every Saturday." "Oh, I didn't know," I whisper. "Exactly." She walks to the coffee maker and pours herself a cup, not from the pot I made. She makes a new one, a different one, like even my coffee is wrong. Then he comes downstairs. He stops when he sees the table. For a moment, something crosses his face. I see it. A flicker of something, guilt, maybe, or regret. Something human. Then she hands him his coffee from the new pot and it's gone. "Your mother made breakfast," she announces, like it's a problem they need to discuss. "Oh," he says. He looks at me, but not really. His eyes slide past like I'm furniture. "That's nice." Nice, the word that means, I wish you hadn't. "We should eat something before we go," I offer weakly. "It'll get cold." "We'll grab something on the way," she says. She's already moving toward the living room. "Come on, we need to get going if we want to make our reservation." He follows her. Of course he does. But then he stops. For just a second, he stops and looks back at me, standing in my kitchen with my perfect breakfast and my daisies and my desperate hope. I see it in his eyes. The apology. The, "I'm sorry, Mom, but I'm choosing her." Then he's gone. I stand alone with the food cooling on the plates. The pancakes are still warm. The bacon is still crispy. The eggs are starting to form that skin on top, the way eggs do when nobody eats them. Nobody appreciates them. Nobody even tries. I should put it away. I should throw it out. I should do what I've been trained to do, disappear, clean up, pretend it never happened. Instead, I just stand there. For the first time since my husband died, since I moved into this house, since I started trying to earn the right to exist, I feel something crack inside me. Not sadness, not even anger, exactly. Just done. I pick up the bowl with the eggs, the ceramic one that matches nothing, the one I've seen her use 100 times, the one that means something to her because everything means something to somebody. I hold it in my hands, and I feel the weight of 6 months. 6 months of small cruelties, 6 months of his silence, 6 months of me trying to prove my worth to people who decided before I arrived that I had none. The bowl leaves my hands. I don't throw it. I don't slam it. I just let it go. It falls through the air in what feels like slow motion. I watch it arc, watch it turn, watch it happen like I'm watching someone else's life. The ceramic is white with blue flowers around the rim. Pretty, breakable, finite. It hits the tile floor. The sound is like a gunshot. The pieces scatter everywhere across the kitchen, under the table, into the living room where they've gone. Tiny ceramic shards of everything I've been trying to hold together. I stare at what I've done, and then I hear him. He's already coming back. He must have heard it. Of course he heard it. "Mom," he shouts. His voice is panicked, confused. He doesn't understand. How could he? He's only ever seen me be small. He's only ever known me broken. He rounds the corner, and he sees me standing in the middle of broken ceramic. He sees the table with the food nobody wanted. He sees the daisies still standing in their vase, still trying to be beautiful. And then he sees his wife, right behind him, her face a mask of shock that's already turning to rage. For a moment, nobody moves. Then he looks at me. really looks at me, and his expression hardens into something I've never seen before. Something worse than disappointment. Something worse than pity. Disgust. "Mom," he says, his voice low and controlled in a way that means he's furious, "do you have no shame at all?" The words hit me like a second bowl breaking. Like the real fracture happening now, the one that can't be swept up. He didn't ask if I was okay. He didn't ask what happened. He didn't even look at me like a person anymore. He looked at me like I was a problem his wife had been right about all along. And I realized in that moment it wasn't the bowl that broke. It was me. And he had been watching it happen the whole time. The pieces are still on the floor when I stop crying. I'm kneeling down, my knees cracking against the tile the same way they've cracked every morning for 62 years, just in different kitchens. My hands shake as I collect the ceramic shards. Each one is small, sharp, impossible to glue back together into something whole. This is what clarity feels like, I think. It doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like being cut. Behind me, they're arguing. I can hear it through the wall. Her voice is high and tight. His is low, controlled, but there's an edge to it now, like he's finally angry, but not at her. At me. "She's unstable," I hear her say. "She just lost her husband," he counters. "And that excuses throwing things? That excuses this behavior?" I keep picking up pieces. My fingers are bleeding now from the sharp edges, but I don't stop. The blood mixes with the ceramic dust on the floor, and I think about how everything that matters gets destroyed one way or another. He doesn't defend me. Of course he doesn't. I understand now what's really happening. It's not about the bowl. It was never about the bowl. It's about the fact that I'm a mirror. I'm standing in their house, grieving my husband, trying to hold myself together, and they can't stand looking at me because I represent something they're terrified of. Marriage, loss, the future where one of them is alone, trying to prove their worth to people who've already decided they have none. She sees her future in me, and she hates me for it. He sees his failure in me, and he hates me for it. So they use me. They use my need for shelter, my love for him, my desperate, aching loneliness after 50 years of being somebody's wife. They use it all like a weapon against each other. And I was so broken, so scared, so grateful just to have a roof over my head that I let them. I pick up another piece of the bowl. On the underside, there's a maker's mark, something European sounding, probably expensive, probably something she cares about more than she cares about me. That thought should hurt, but it doesn't anymore. I go to my room and I look at that box again. The one with the photos. The one I've been unpacking and repacking for 6 months. My hands are still bleeding, leaving little red smudges on the cardboard, and I think, yes, this is appropriate. This box should be marked with blood. I open it one last time. There's my wedding photo. There's the beach. There's me, young and certain, with my arm linked through his. There's me in front of our house, the one I sold because I couldn't afford the mortgage alone. There's me at his funeral, looking like I'd been hollowed out from the inside. There's me, over and over. Different versions, different decades, but always the same core of me underneath someone who loved, someone who tried. Someone who believed that if she just worked hard enough, gave enough, sacrificed enough, she would matter. And look at me now. 62 years old, bleeding on my knees in a kitchen that isn't mine, picking up the pieces of a bowl that nobody would have noticed was broken if she hadn't been angry. I close the box carefully. Then I start another one. The packing takes 3 hours. Not because I have much. I don't. 6 months in this house, and I've accumulated almost nothing. A few changes of clothes, some books, the photo of my husband, my jewelry, my dignity if I have any left. I fold things methodically, the way she taught me, tight, organized, like I'm folding up the version of myself that was willing to disappear. I can hear them downstairs. They've stopped arguing. Now they're having that careful, polite conversation that married people have when they're about to make a decision. I can hear the tone, the one where they're agreeing with each other without actually saying anything. They've decided what to do with me. Good, because I've decided too. I pull out my phone and book a hotel room with the last of my savings, the Riverside Inn, 3 miles away. Nothing fancy. But it's not here. And right now, that's all that matters. Then I call my bank and check my balance. There's enough for maybe 6 weeks if I'm careful. 6 weeks to figure out what a 62-year-old widow does when she's lost her marriage, her house, and the last shred of her son's respect. I don't know, but I'll find out. I wheel my suitcase down the stairs. They're both in the living room. They hear the sound of the wheels on the hardwood, and they go very still. "What are you doing?" he asks. "Leaving," I say simply. "What do you mean, leaving?" She stands up. There's something in her face, not regret, but maybe surprise. Like she expected me to stay, expected me to keep absorbing blows, expected me to keep being the problem they could focus on instead of whatever's actually broken in their marriage. "I mean, I'm leaving. I've booked a hotel. I'll have everything out by tonight." "Mom," he starts. "No," I say. My voice is steady, in a way it hasn't been in months. "You don't get to mom me anymore. You made your choice. You chose her. You chose to let her speak to me like that. You chose to ask if I had no shame when I was standing in a room with a bowl I broke because I was desperate for you to love me." He stands up. "That's not fair." "Fair?" I laugh. It's a sound like breaking glass. "Do you want to talk about fair? Fair is not asking your mother to disappear from her own life because your wife is uncomfortable. Fair is not blaming your widow mother for not having a plan when she's still learning how to breathe without her husband. Fair is you being a son instead of a coward." He flinches. Good. He should flinch. "I didn't ask you to leave," he says quietly. "No," I agree. "But you didn't ask me to stay either. You just sighed like I was a problem you didn't know how to solve. And you know what? I figured it out for you." I grab the handle of my suitcase and I head toward the door. The daisies are still on the kitchen table, still trying to be beautiful. I think about leaving them there. I think about letting them watch me go. But I don't. I turn back, and for the first time I see him really look at me. His expression is crumpling. His eyes are wet. And I realize he's only now understanding what he's done. He's only now seeing his mother as a person and not a problem. Too late. "Where are you going?" he asks. I pause at the door, my hand on the frame, my suitcase in the other. The version of me that's been living in boxes for 6 months, trying to fit into spaces I was never meant to occupy. "Somewhere I'm not a problem to solve," I say. And as I wheel my suitcase out of that house and toward my car, I wonder not where I'm going. I wonder if he'll ever come looking for me. 3 weeks alone teaches you things nobody warns you about. It teaches you that you can survive on less than you thought, less money, less space, less love. The Riverside Inn has a single bed with a floral comforter that reminds me of better hotel rooms from better times. The walls are thin. I can hear couples arguing next door, families laughing, people living lives that don't involve me. It's the most peace I've felt in months. It teaches you that grief is different when you're alone. With my husband, grief was a shared weight. With my son, it became a tool he used against me. But alone, grief is just grief. It comes and goes like the tide. I cry sometimes. Most times, I don't. It teaches you that you're stronger than you ever believed. The job interview happens on a Tuesday. I'm sitting across from a woman named Rachel, who's maybe 40, with reading glasses on a beaded chain and a kindness in her eyes that I've almost forgotten how to recognize. "You've been out of the workforce for how long?" she asks, studying my resume. 32 years, I tell her. I raised a family, then I was a wife, then I was a widow. She looks up at me. "And now?" "Now I'm just me," I say, "and I need to work." She hires me on the spot. Part-time at a bookstore downtown. 15 hours a week. Minimum wage plus a discount on books. It's not much, but it's something. It's mine. I start the following Monday. The apartment comes next. It's small, a 1-bedroom above a Vietnamese restaurant that smells like lemongrass and ginger. The wallpaper is outdated. The kitchen is barely big enough for one person. The bathroom has a window that looks out onto the street where people walk with purpose, with direction, with somewhere to be. I hang the photo of my husband on the wall above the bed. Him at 40, still strong, still alive, still mine in a way that nobody can take away now. I stand there looking at it for a long time, and I don't cry. I just stand there and remember what it felt like to be wanted by someone. Then I unpack the boxes. For the first time in 6 months, things stay unpacked. They go into drawers, they hang in the closet. They become part of a life I'm building instead of a life I'm waiting to reclaim. I buy groceries for one. I cook what I want. I eat when I'm hungry. There's no one here to judge my choices. No one here to make me feel like my presence is an imposition. The freedom tastes like lemongrass and ginger and possibility. The book club starts in week 5. The library puts up a flyer. Older readers, new voices. I see it and something in me responds to those words. Older, not invisible, not discarded. Just older, just experienced. Just ready for something new. There are 5 of us at the first meeting. 5 women between 60 and 75, sitting in a circle with books in our laps and stories in our eyes. We talk about the novel Something Contemporary and Strange, but mostly we talk about ourselves, about the lives we've lived, about the ways we've been underestimated, about what it feels like to finally reach an age where we stop apologizing for taking up space. There's Patricia, who left her husband of 40 years because he wouldn't stop gambling. There's Dorothy, who lost a daughter and never quite learned how to live again. There's Eileen, who never married, never had kids, and spent 60 years being told she was selfish. There's Susan, who has a son who never calls. And there's me. We laugh together, we cry together, we read passages aloud that make us feel less alone. And for the first time since my husband died, I feel like I belong somewhere. Not because I'm useful, not because I'm needed, just because I'm here. One evening, after we've discussed Colson Whitehead's latest novel, Patricia touches my arm and says, "You're different than you were 3 weeks ago." "Different how?" I ask. "Lighter," she says, "like you've put down something very heavy." I think about that, about the weight of wanting to be wanted, about the price of invisible labor and silent sacrifice, about what it costs a woman to make herself smaller so that other people can feel bigger. "I did," I tell her. "I finally put it down." My son calls for the first time on a Thursday. I'm at work, organizing books in the fiction section, when my phone vibrates. His name on the screen. His name, which I've been not calling for 3 weeks. His name, which used to mean everything. I let it go to voicemail. He leaves a message. "Mom, I'm sorry. I know you're angry, and you have every right to be. Please just call me back. We need to talk." I delete it. He calls again the next day, and the day after. I don't answer any of them. The silence feels like justice. Each time the phone rings, I imagine what I would say if I picked it up. I would tell him that he was supposed to protect me. I would tell him that love isn't the same as need. I would tell him that his wife was right about one thing: I did choose to stay where I wasn't wanted, and that was my mistake, not my shame. But I don't call back. The not calling back is my answer. Then one evening, I come home to find him on the apartment building steps. He's sitting in the dark with his jacket pulled tight around him, looking smaller than I remember. Older, maybe. Like something has hollowed him out the same way grief hollowed me out. "Hi, Mom," he says quietly. My first instinct is to go to him, to comfort him, to make myself small and useful and needed again. 30 years of motherhood rises up in my chest, trying to pull me toward him. I don't move. "How did you find me?" I ask. "Your sister told me where you were working. I drove by the bookstore and followed you home." He stands up. "I know I don't have the right to be here. I know you don't want to see me. But I need to tell you something." "I don't want to hear it," I say flatly. "Please," he says. "Just please." And something in that word breaks through my carefully constructed walls. Not because I forgive him, but because I recognize something in his face. Not guilt, not regret, something deeper. Something like the beginning of understanding. I gesture for him to sit. He sits. For a long moment, we don't say anything. We just sit there on the apartment building steps, surrounded by the sounds of the city, the smell of lemongrass drifting up from the restaurant below, and the weight of everything that's been broken between us. She left me, he says finally, 2 weeks ago. She said the marriage wasn't working, that she'd been staying because she felt sorry for me, that I was weak for letting my mother live with us, that I needed to grow up or she was done. I don't feel triumph. I don't feel vindication. I just feel sad. Your marriage wasn't my fault, I say. I know, he says. I know that now. But I spent so long trying to make her happy, trying to keep her from being angry, trying to manage both of your feelings, that I forgot that you were my mother, that I was supposed to protect you, that I owed you more than silence. He's crying now, not the way I cried in that house, desperate, ashamed tears, but real tears, the kind that come when you finally understand what you've done. I want to make it right, he says. I don't know how, but I want to try. I look at him, this man who is my son, and also a stranger, and also someone I used to believe in, and I realize that this is the moment where I could forgive him, where I could let him back in, where I could go back to being the mother who fixes things. But I'm not that woman anymore. I'm not ready. I tell him, I don't know if I'll ever be ready. What you did, what you let happen, it broke something in me. Not my spirit, but my trust, my faith that you would choose me. I know, he says, I know that. I need you to go, I say. I need you to go and figure out who you are without a woman telling you who to be. And then maybe we can talk about what comes next. He nods. He understands. Or he's beginning to. As he's walking away, he turns back one final time. Mom, he says, I'm sorry, and I'm proud of you. For leaving, for choosing yourself. I didn't know how to do that, but I'm learning. And then he's gone. I sit alone on the apartment building steps, and I realize that this isn't the ending of our story. It's the beginning of 2 separate ones. And for the first time, I'm okay with that.